A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Failure is not falling down but refusing to get up. He who asks is a fool for 5 minutes, but he who does not ask remains a fool forever. A wise man adapts himself to circumstances, as water shapes itself to the vessel that contains it. The person who removes a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. If you are patient in one moment of anger, you will escape 100 days of sorrow. Learning is a treasure that will follow its owner everywhere. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. The best fighter is never angry. When the winds of change blow, some build walls while others build windmills. A book holds a house of gold. A bit of fragrance clings to the hand that gives flowers. To know the road ahead, ask those coming back. Be not afraid of growing slowly, be afraid only of standing still. Do not confine your children to your own learning, for they were born in another time. It is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. Be the first to the field and the last to the couch. The best time to fix the roof is when the sun is shining. A fall into a ditch makes you wiser. A single conversation with a wise man is better than 10 years of study. He who strikes the first blow admits he's lost the argument. Man who stands on top of mountain cannot keep hand in pocket. Silence is a source of great strength. A closed mind is like a closed book, just a block of wood. Teachers open the door, but you must enter by yourself. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. To see what is right and not do it is the want of courage. Man who stands on toilet is high on pot. An inch of time is an inch of gold, but you can't buy that inch of time with an inch of gold. The person who says it cannot be done should not interrupt the person who is doing it. Do not remove a fly from your friend's forehead with a hatchet. A smile will gain you 10 more years of life. He who sacrifices his conscience to ambition burns a picture to obtain the ashes. One kind word can warm 3 winter months. When you have only 2 pennies left in the world, buy a loaf of bread with one, and a lily with the other. Your teacher can open the door, but you must enter by yourself. The gem cannot be polished without friction, nor man perfected without trials. You cannot prevent the birds of sorrow from flying over your head, but you can prevent them from building nests in your hair. If you stand straight, do not fear a crooked shadow. A fool judges people by the presents they give him. Before preparing to improve the world, first look around your own home 3 times. Even a hair will bite when it is cornered. The greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Tell me, and I'll forget. Show me, and I may remember. Involve me, and I'll understand. The nail that sticks out gets hammered down. A bird does not sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song. When you drink from the stream, remember the spring. A diamond with a flaw is worth more than a pebble without imperfections. The palest ink is better than the best memory. Those who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those doing it. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. The superior man is modest in his speech but exceeds in his actions. When we see men of a contrary character, we should turn inwards and examine ourselves. To be wronged is nothing, unless you continue to remember it. The superior man is firm in the right way and does not employ the wrong way. The wise are not perplexed, the virtuous are not anxious, and the brave are not afraid. Ignorance is the night of the mind, but a night without moon and star. To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge. A lion chased me up a tree, and I greatly enjoyed the view from the top. When you see a good man, try to emulate his example, and when you see a bad man, search yourself for his faults. The superior man understands what is right, the inferior man understands what will sell. Virtue is not left to stand alone. He who practices it will have neighbors. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. The hardest thing of all is to find a black cat in a dark room, especially if there is no cat. When you have faults, do not fear to abandon them. The beginning of wisdom is to call things by their proper name. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Fine words and an insinuating appearance are seldom associated with true virtue. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Men's natures are alike, it is their habits that separate them. To be able under all circumstances to practice 5 things constitutes perfect virtue. These 5 things are gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness. He who does not economize will have to agonize. When we know a thing, we hold that we know it, and when we do not know a thing, we hold that we do not know it. That is knowledge. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. The object of the superior man is truth. A man who does not think and plan long ahead will find trouble right at his door. Ability will never catch up with the demand for it. Without an acquaintance with the rules of propriety, it is impossible for the character to be established. In a hamlet of 10 households, there are bound to be those who are my equal in doing their best for others, and in loving their neighbor as themselves. Why should I fret over the failure of others to appreciate me? When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. The superior man is all-embracing and not partial. The inferior man is partial and not all-embracing. Without feelings of respect, what is there to distinguish men from beasts? The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. If you see what is right and fail to do it, you lack courage. When you see a good person, think of becoming like her/him. When you see someone not so good, reflect on your own weak points. Learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous.